Now, 3 guesses what my favourite film is, guys. I mean, considering in the last video, a couple of videos ago, I talked a whole video about it. Hello everybody and welcome once again back to another video on my channel. Now this video was once again suggested to me by my little teapot. She gave me a list of videos, so expect a lot of videos dedicated to her coming soon in the future, so hi teapot. If you've got any suggestions, once again let me know in the comments or let me know on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, any of that sort of stuff, and I'll happily do them for you. So yeah, this is my top 10 Disney movies. Now I have not included Marvel or Disney Channel movies, anything like that. I've just done Disney and Pixar because to me they're sort of like the same thing. So let's just get into it. And when I've included a Disney film, if it's got say 2 or 3 films in the franchise, then I'm only including the first film, like, because if I did the sequels and stuff, it would take so long, I would have like a top 500. So, and the first film is The Little Mermaid. Now this film obviously came out way before I was born, and it kind of took me a while to realise I loved it, because obviously it came out way before I was born. It's my sister's favourite movie. It came out the year she was born, and so because she loved it and I grew up around her loving it, that's how I kind of got into the film. And obviously, what can't you love about it? There's beautiful music in it. It's still a classic today. It's got cute little fun little characters. 2 great movies after it. It's just a really good film. And then if you haven't seen it recently, I did The Little Mermaid live. That's not a good thing, so don't watch that. On to the next film, number 9, is Brother Bear. Now, this one I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, and it is an amazing film, and it has a sequel to it. It's like got 2 little, like, 2 bears in it, like the main characters, and 2 mooses, so you've got like the funny side characters, like classic Disney. It's got, I mean, it's not a musical, I don't think there's a great score to it though. And it's just the story, it's like about like Native Americans and like that sort of thing's like kind of different for like a film, and like the way they've done it is beautifully drawn. It's like, for its time as well, it's like amazing, and it's just a really great watch. I love it. It's like one of my favourites. At number 8 is WreckIt Ralph. Now this one could have gone higher up in the list, but there were so many to get through, so it had to be in there somewhere. Now this one is just a great, like, I guess you could say crossover, for the fact it's got all the other video game characters that we grew up loving in. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's good, and obviously this one's got a sequel too, because it was just that great of a film, and the second one just is as amazing. It's got Jane Lynch in it as well. Anything with Jane Lynch in is amazing, and all the other characters in it, and the guy that does Ralph's voice, he's in stuff and he's fun. He's just like great cast as well. But I think it's just the way they've like brought all our old characters like video games. It's just clever how they've done it, and like they look perfect in CGI, and it's just like such a spectacle, I guess you could say, and that's why it's a great film. Now, film number 7 is a very old one, even older than the first one. It's Up the Broomsticks, another film which I don't think has ever had enough recognition. It is a fucking bop of a film. If they remade it, I would probably cry a little bit, but I'd also be interested, because I mean, it's priceless when they had a remake, because it's so old. This is from 1971, so it's due a remake, I suppose, but I don't know if I want one. But anyway, so yeah, Angela Lansbury is queen of, like, the olden days, no offence, love you. And it's clever because for 1971 it's like live action mixed with cartoons. So how they achieved that back then was obviously really clever, and how they did it so accurately, and just like the story and the magic. I mean, looking at it, the effects are like piss poor because it's like such a green screen, but you appreciate it for the time, and like you love it. I just think that even if they remade it, I want it to look as like dodgy as it did before, because it just makes it, I think, just like, because you know it's obviously fake, you can see, sort of, but you appreciate the story they're telling, and like for its time though, it was outstanding, and I love it. It's a very great, and also the guy that's like in like the only films I know him from is this one and Mary Poppins, but both the films are amazing films that he's done, so that is in my list. And speaking of, the next film is Mary Poppins, because who doesn't love a bit of Mary? Like, Julie Andrews is actual literal queen, and she's still around doing bits and bobs today. She just doesn't stop. And obviously the sequel was just as amazing. It was very like the same sort of storyline, like where they jump into it like animation. But for this one, once again, like Bedons and Broomsticks, mixing this with animation back in the day is really good. And Dick Van Dyke, he's like the king of films as well. It's just these two to start off with in a film is everything. But like the songs, obviously timeless songs. And I'm glad that when they made the sequel, it was a sequel, not a remake, because that was really clever how they did it. And fun fact, the original Jane from this is in the new one, if you haven't spotted that Easter egg. But timeless classic, who doesn't love a bit of Mary Poppins? And a bit of spoonful of sugar always helps the medicine go down. So we're now halfway down the list now. Coming in at number 5 is another good old classic, is Pete's Dragon. Now before I talk about this one, they did make a remake. But when I say remake, I want to call it a reboot rather than a remake, because the remake storyline was completely different. The only thing I loved, I mean, I liked the film, but this one is way better. The thing I loved about the new one is how they animated Elliot, the dragon himself. But that's neither here nor there. We're on about this one. So this is the original classic, which you cannot mess with, and this was from 1977. So, because it's about a dragon. You know, who doesn't love dragons? And like, Disney obviously were really the thing, I guess, in like what the 60s, 70s, 80s was like live action and cartoons mixed together, because obviously back then they didn't have CGI, so like the cartoons was the replacement of CGI, which is obviously why when they did the remake they made Elliot CGI, not cartoon, which was a bad choice though, because I did love how they did it, but like the whole thing was him being a cartoon. But anyway, yeah, it's got a few fun songs in it. The dragon is cute, he's charming. It's a great story about like a boy and his dragon. I mean, what's more to like? I feel like this once again, people don't know this film as much. I mean, since the remake, obviously it's become a bit more popular, I suppose. But even before then, I was like standing this film way beforehand, and it came out way before I was born. So now I feel like the top 4 are kind of like the ones that we all know and love, like they're all around everywhere. But it's clear to see why. So number 4 is good old Lilo and Stitch. Now, obviously, there's a sequel to this because it was so good, but the first one you can't mess with, because who doesn't love Stitch? He's probably one of the most beloved Disney characters of all time. Well, he is one of the most beloved Disney characters of all time, let's be honest. I mean, shout out to Megan, this is her favourite Disney film because she loves Stitch forever, and so do I. It's like, who doesn't love a bit of Stitch? So obviously, if you don't know it, then, if you've never seen it, then get a life, no offence, because you need to have seen Lilo and Stitch in your life. It's just good, because Stitch is like adorable. Him and Lilo's relationship is just really great, and the storyline, how it's funny, and it's about how space. There aren't many Disney films that involve space, so that's just like once again with Brother Bear and the Native Americans. There aren't many films about that. Like this film, there aren't many films about like say aliens in Disney and stuff. So I think because their storyline's different to begin with, it helps it to stand out in general. Then you add on the cute characters and like the songs in it, and it's just great. And obviously this is the music of Elvis Presley in it, so if you love Elvis, then this is also the film for you. And the fact it's set in Hawaii, it's just like a nice different setting and stuff. So this is like way before Moana. It's like Moana and Hawaii are okay, but Lilo was first. Number 3, The Incredibles. Now, by the way, this top 5 could have gone in any order, but it's hard to put them in a specific order. Like, so I kind of had to just do it. But The Incredibles, obviously, so many years later, number 2 came out, and I like that because it came off where this one ended. And when this ended, we all hoped there'd be another one, because it led to oh my god, is there going to be a sequel? And like 13 years later or whatever there was. But yeah, so The Incredibles. Now these were the original superheroes before Fantastic Four, before Iron Man, Superman, Batman films or any of that, because I grew up, I think 90s people, noughties people grew up with The Incredibles, because who doesn't love them? Like, I do not do Marvel, right? So I don't do superheroes, but I do these superheroes. This is my thing. Because obviously it's got all the characters you love. It's got a bit of Edna, Mold, Baby Jack, and all the characters you know and love. And I wanted to be Dash when I was a kid, because he's blonde like I was. He was fast. I wanted to be fast. Just saying, putting it out there. I wanted to be incredible. I still do. I still want one of the super suits. If I had one, I'd probably have one like a bit like Jack's, where you get protected, you can have fire, you can do a bit of everything, because that'd just be a bit of fun. And number 2, it wouldn't be any Disney list without a bit of Finding Nemo, a bit of Squishy, a bit of Fabio, as Dory would call him. Obviously there was 13 years later Finding Dory, which is technically sort of like a separate film, but obviously I can't count that as the sequel, so that's why that Dory is not in the list, because obviously it's sequels. But I mean, it's got Nemo, it's got Ellen DeGeneres in it, it's got fish, it's got turtles. What more could you not love? It's like there's so many like memes and TikToks on it. There's like about the butt, and there's the one going around with Peach as the starfish, be like, the tank is clean, da da da. You know, plus Ellen DeGeneres at the end of the day. What more can you want from a film? Like, I'm glad that she got. I'm glad it's got a sequel in the form of Finding Dory. with more like, new lovable characters. But once again, there aren't many like Disney films set in the sea. Like, apart of, I mean, Little Mermaid, but I mean like fish-wise. So once again, like having that separate storyline helps it stand out as well. And I just remember seeing this film in the cinema. I think this was the first film I ever saw in the cinema. And that's probably one of the reasons why I love it so much as well, because it's just them childhood memories when you come back to the film. Now, 3 guesses what my favourite film is, guys. I mean, considering the last video, a couple of videos ago, I talked a whole video about it. And that's obviously Toy Story. As I've explained before, it's just, it came out the year I was born, so I feel very attached to it. It's got 2 of the most beloved Disney characters from Pixar. A bit of Buzz and Woody. It's got toys that we all grew up with, so that's why you feel more connected with it. And like Andy, like growing up through my like years, he kind of like aged sort of similar in the throughout the 4 films, and I just love it. It's just funny. It makes you believe in magic and like that toys are real, because who's not, like, be honest, who's not like left their room as a kid, come back and like try to catch their toys moving, and we've all done it. And that is my list. Now if you want, like, say a top 10 Disney Channel movies or a top 10 Disney movie musicals, then let me know, because I will do that. I've got plenty films, and there's several films that could have made it onto this list, but I just had hard trouble nailing it down. So literally very quick, I'm just going to mention the films that I tried to put in this list but struggled because I only had 10 to work with. What the fuck's it all? Meet the Robinsons, Up, Tangled, Dumbo, and Freaky Friday. They're my honourable mentions, and they could have been a list if I had a longer list to do. So if you did like this video, please feel free to give it a like, share it with friends, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon with another video, and I hope you're all staying safe during this time.